Hundreds of square miles of India are on fire, coal deposits burning out of control. To fuel economic growth, India is extracting ever more coal. But the mining inflicts a terrible cost on local people, like these child labourers.
We are very much disturbed physically, mentally due to the gas all around, but then we are helpless.
We arrive in the Jharia coalfields in India's eastern state of Jharkhand. I can see a hillside that seems to be half on fire. In this open-cast mine, seams of pure coal have ignited. But you can see that there are flames all around us. The fires spread deep underground. What the mining company is trying to do is put out a fire that has ignited the entire hillside here. What causes this coal to catch fire?
The cause is the only cause is the oxidation.
Shiv Shringi, an engineer with the state company BCCL, explains how the chemical properties of the coal in this part of India cause it to heat up on contact with open air and then catch fire. In areas where there are old coal mine shafts, it oxidizes on contact with the air. Eventually it reaches a critical temperature and then spontaneously combusts. And how many fires have you got in your coal mines?
The whole of the BCCL is under fire, particularly in Jharkhand.
67 fires have been identified.
67 fires.
67 fires.
So that's an area of hundreds of square kilometers. 360 square kilometers affected by fire. Incredibly, the fires have raged for nearly 100 years, soon after the first coal mines were opened here. India extracts 400 million tons of coal a year. Jharia's mines are part of this massive industry that fuels India's powerhouse economy. BCCL, the state-owned Bharat Coking Coal Limited, allowed us to go down one of its underground mines. Moving on down into the darkness towards the coal face. These guys are wrestling with this machine. It's hot, it's humid, and it's dangerous. This is part of India's massive coal industry, feeding electricity and steel industries for the economy. BCCL is Jharia's main employer, with more than 75,000 workers in its mines. At the coalface, I meet one of the foremen, Sanjay.
Against the nature.
Sanjay says that it's very challenging. They're working against nature, but he really enjoys it. We trek through a maze of underground tunnels that extends for miles before we reach the surface. What we realise back on the surface is that all of this is happening under a town, and it's the tunnels that are the cause of the subterranean fires. Mining provides a livelihood for Jharia, but the underground inferno also threatens the health and homes of millions. This is Bokapadi village, where hundreds of families live above the fires. You can see the intense heat coming up from the earth here. It's so hot that a piece of paper, look at that, there you go. That is how hot the ground beneath our feet is. And everywhere there are these little fissures and cracks with smoke bubbling up and sulphurous gases. It's quite amazing, the stench, and people are living right here all around us. Walking through the village, we find one family cooking a meagre breakfast yards away from cracks belching heat and poisonous fumes.
इसमें अभी 8 गए पानी गिरते रहता है हम लोग बैठे रहते हैं कहाँ जाएगा.
The mother Gayatri shows us her family home, where 8 people live in a tiny hut that is collapsing around them. This is as a result of subsidence. You can see these huge cracks in the wall. Gayatri, why don't you take your family to live in a slightly safer place? Isn't there somewhere that's better for you to live? Gayatri tells me they're so poor they have no choice but to stay in the village because it's near the coal that gives them an income. She says that if they lived anywhere else they wouldn't be able to make a living out of the mine as they do, and it's as a result of living here that they're able to eat. And this is their livelihood, coal scavenging. In this vast open BCCL mine next to Bokapadi, we find hundreds of villagers stealing coal. People are rushing in before the slag has even been deposited to try to find the best bits of coal. It's an incredibly dangerous job. It's hot, people are breathing poisonous fumes, and the walls of this colliery are on fire. It feels as if we're in the middle of an oven. These are the conditions that people have to work in here. It's a vision of hell, and many of those toiling in the mine are just children. We find Gayatri's daughter Dolly working amongst the rubble. Do you ever take days off or do you work every day? Dolly says they work here every day, all year round, without a break. None of the people in her family have attended school. This is the only life that they can make. Dolly says she knows it's dangerous for her and her family to live here, but they have no alternative except to stay working in the mines. This is really back-breaking work. Dolly doesn't have any shoes. She's walking across sharp stones and boiling hot coals. Now she's got this steep hill. This is what she does all day, every day. Once Dolly has collected her coal, she prepares it for sale. This involves partially burning it, a process known as coking, so that it does not smoke. It's just after dawn in Bokapadi, and the sunrise is obscured by all of the smoke in the air. And all around us you can see plumes of smoke rising from the mines where the coal has been burning. When Dolly's coal is ready, she bags it up and then starts the journey into town. Every morning, Dolly and her friends go house to house trying to sell their coal. Most people in Jharia still use coal for cooking, and that's another reason why the atmosphere is so polluted here. Dolly has made less than £1, the fruit of a day's labour. That is enough to eat once for the family in one day. She says that she doesn't know what they'll do this evening. This is the only thing that keeps Dolly and her family from starvation. Until a few years ago, this wasteland was a place of forests and farms. But as mining destroys the environment, farmers are forced to become artisan coal miners. We've just arrived in this artisanal mining area, and the activity is illegal. And as soon as we arrived, we saw lots of people running, men, women, and also children. We meet Devanand, who works in a nearby mine with his father. Where's he taking the coal?
My home.
This kid Devanand is rolling 2 lumps of coal down the hill. He says that he's taking it home, and there aren't any houses here for a long distance. Devanand is only 8 years old. It's going to take him all day at this rate, and he moves ahead about 5 feet, and then he goes back to collect his tiffin can, and then comes back to roll the coal again. It really is very difficult to watch this. In this mine west of Jharia, hundreds of people are not just scavenging for coal, they're digging their own shafts into the rock. Once extracted, the coal is loaded onto bikes and then transported to market. This bike alone is carrying 120 kilos of coal, and they've got a journey that will take them a couple of miles to town. Entire families work together in these mines. They all used to be farmers, and this was their land. Then it was destroyed by large-scale mining, and so they were forced to follow suit and extract coal themselves.